Okay, now we're going to finish this up. We had just added the raw materials in part 3. This is the part 4 video. Um, we just started talking about the use of pesticides. For our handlers, they generally use a fumigant. So we're going to go ahead and add that for shelled almonds. And you can see, since we already added the commodity in the system on the first page under adding products, it shows up in the drop down. You don't have to worry about the Chinese name of the pesticide, but a lot of our companies have been entering phosphine gas, and that has been working. You save that. Okay, now we've got that phosphine gas for both commodities. Production correspondence, I already talked about that one. This is where you would, if you had a partner that you're doing some toll processing for, you could choose which product. Is it in shell or shelled almonds, that you've already added into the system, which product. And then, is it a raw material supplier or a reprocessing company or other? You put in the name of the company. Do they have do they have their own FEI number from the competent authority? Yes or no? And then, are they registered with China? So we're just going to leave that one blank. I did put one in there for in-shell almonds, and the company I'm toll processing for is called the Schneller Brothers. And then in the future, that company would be able to use my GACC approval number on products that would be going to China under their name. They asked for information about water. Is water used? And it's best to click on yes, even if you're not using water in the actual processing procedure. But if you have uploaded some HACCP documents, they'll come back and say, oh, well, don't you use water for your personal hygiene for your employees? So in this case, I'm going to say enterprise-owned well water. Do we test it? Yes. Do we disinfect it? Yes. And in our case, we use chlorination treatment. They ask for the number of employees, 20, number of management and technical personnel. And then finally, do you have some official inspectors, quarantine personnel in the factory? A lot of times our handlers will have AMS inspectors that help with grading during the harvest period. So usually companies will put in one, and that seems to be working. Accredited agency, I suppose you could use FDA. A lot of our companies have been using the California Department of Public Health. You could also use your local state ag commission, or even some kind of local health health organization at the county level. And then finally, here is the enterprise declaration. So we've already uploaded that and talked about that already in the previous video. So now what I want to do, you can go ahead and take a look at the review. Here are the documents that we've uploaded. You can see we have 2 different flow charts now. And then preview, this shows everything that we've entered into the system. But one more thing that I want to show you is we can go back here to application for registration. Let's say we want to add another commodity that's not under nut and seeds. So for almonds, one of those commodities would be almond oil, and it's still up here under Article 7. So it requires approval by the competent authority. So while we're setting up our account and adding all of these commodities, we've already added the almond oil in our export listing module. So we can come in here and do the same thing. The name of the competent authority is FDA. What do we say here? 20. Let's just go back a couple of years and say that's whoops. Confirm. Okay. California. Remember, I think it's best to type this information out. Otherwise, there could be some confusion. Put in your address for your facility. Everything should match up with your export listing module. So make sure CEO, contact person, Keith, and then 000, and then your phone number, 703. All of these mandatory boxes with the red asterisks have to be filled in. Same thing, we'd have to upload our business license. And now let's just take a real quick look at this. I'm not going to fill it all in right now, but you'll see now, we've got a whole different set of HS codes in here. And the HS code for almond oil is 151590. There's pine seed oil, margarine. I guess we would use this one here, other fixed vegetable, and then same thing. We have to probably, it's best to check with your importers, see which CIQ code. So almond oil, Schneller brand, Prunus dulces, because it comes from the almond plant, and we only do we do 900. So I'm going to put in 1,000 as our design capacity, and our actual is 900 tons per year. And we sort, screen or clean, press, and package. I think it'll take comments. Yeah. Do we do HACCP? Nope. I'm just going to say no. And then I have to plug in this flow chart, otherwise it won't let me save it. So I go to my folder with my documents in it, and I'm just going to use the same flow chart for shell almonds. But in reality, it would have to be one for olive or for almond oil. Okay, so then we can go click through, export history. Have we shipped to China in the past? No, we haven't. So if you say no here, you don't have to put any data in there. Now they're still going to ask us for the GMO information. So we click on almond oil. You have to type it in. It's not GMO product, and it's from the USA. Save that here. And pesticides, I would say no. We don't use pesticides in producing almond oil. Do we use water? Probably for our employees, yes. Yes. Chlorination. And we've got 80 employees, and we've got 7 management, and we've got 1 inspector who comes in, and we're going to use CDPH. And we would upload our enterprise declaration here. And then same thing, we can go through this and preview, all of the documents that we've uploaded. And then down here at the bottom, we would submit. So every once in a while, you'll run into some errors when you hit submit. So if you do, you might have to contact FDA or USDA and have them help you. We had some problems in the past where some products were initially registered back in 2021, and GACC uploaded a list of products and used the Chinese character descriptions. And then when we went in to finalize our accounts, we used English character descriptions. And when we would hit submit, it would come back and say, oh, you need to go back in for raw materials and add, the same information for the Chinese character description, which it didn't make sense, but we just followed the instructions and it worked. And we didn't delete what we had added for the English description, but we just added it for the Chinese description, and then everything worked. So that's basically what you would have to do. Now, I'm going to show you how you can see what I've been working on here. So we started first of all with nuts and seed products. And I didn't hit submit, but if I would have hit submit, it would say over here that handle steps, it would say submitted to GACC, because it's an Article 9 product that can be self-registered, and it would go directly to GACC. Now, we also added nuts and seeds, the in-shell and shelled almonds, and we added the almond oil. And those two have to go through the competent authority. So over here, it would say submitted to competent authority. And it's not going to, you're not going to get any changes until your competent authority, which is FDA in our case, reviews the application, makes sure you're in good standing, and forwards that application material to GACC. Then it will change the status and let you know. And then you'll have to pay attention, and eventually either GACC will approve your request, and then you're good to go for the next 5 years for those products, or they might come back and refuse it. And if they do, you would look over here under customs feedback, and it will give you a little bit of information about why there is no customs receipt, but it'll tell you what you need to fix, or something was missing, or whatever. The unfortunate part of that is if they do refuse something, they usually clear out your application. So you'll have to go back into your account, go back to application for registration, and go all the way through and re-add all of those documents. That's just another reason why it's a good idea to keep those documents in that special folder. That'll make it a lot easier for you in the future. Okay, so that's it. You can basically self-register an account, get your account set up, do the self-registration for the Article 9 products, submit them directly to GACC for approval. You'll get the approval number back from GACC. For the Article 7 products, you still have to go through this account certification process to make your account live, so it's linked to FDA or to the U.S. government CIFER account anyway. And then you can add more than one product category. So what's going to happen though is, if let's say that GACC approves all three of these requests, they're going to give me an approval number for the nuts and seed products, Article 9. And then they're going to give me a separate approval number for oil and a separate one for nuts and seeds. Even though this one facility operates under one FDA establishment identifier number. So another resource that I wanted to share with you is this website. It's called cifer.singlewindow.cn. So you go into this page, and the tricky part is you need to know the category number of the commodities. And I know, because I've been in here many times, category 12 right here, that's in Chinese. You can probably copy and paste that and translate it, but it says nuts and seeds in Chinese. And then you come over here to the country region, type in USA, and then you go to this little focus thing, and anyway, it'll pull up 165 entries for American companies that export nuts and seeds. So a lot of these are our guys with almonds. There's a pecan. There's some trading companies that are in here, but eventually those trading companies will be deleted because they were transferred over into this portal from a different system that's out of date. So Decree 248 only applies to processing facilities and your products. And so here's the other neat thing about this. If we choose the top company here, let's see, it says I have to be registered in the system. So let's see if I still have a valid password in here. I guess it means since the other one hasn't been submitted and approved by GACC, I have to use another account that's actually been approved before. But see, I clicked on Horizon Nut. That was the first company on the list. And it shows in here, Horizon Nut is doing pistachios. But the interesting thing is you see an entry twice for each product. And the reason that is, for this particular company, or for a lot of the companies that were initially registered, again, GACC registered the products using the Chinese description. And then when